And we're live! Welcome along to the live stream, everybody. Welcome along to Adorama TV. Thank you very much for joining us. Us? Me? Us. Yeah, let's go with us. For those that don't know me, hello! My name's Gavin Hoey. I'm one of the presenters right here on Adorama TV. This is a live stream, unless you're watching the recording. If you're watching the recording, hello recording people as well. Let me know where you are watching this from, if you're having a good day. Hopefully you're enjoying yourself, because we've got a live session that's going to be sparkly, fun, shiny, bright. And it's going to be quite exciting. I'm not here on my own. I've got a couple of people with me. I've got the amazing Sam on the Super Switcher. You can't see her, but you can hear her.
Hello. Hopefully you can hear me. How is everybody? Are you as cold as we are? We are very cold. The studio's nice and toasty. Outside, freezing. We've got people from everywhere. Shall I shout out a few places?
Yeah, go on then.
Yeah. So we've got Sweden. I bet that's chilly, actually. Belgium. We've got Amsterdam, Edinburgh, Quebec. Let's find somewhere warm, shall we?
Somewhere warm, oh please. Yeah.
Well, I don't know about warm. Florence. I'd quite like to be in Florence at the moment.
That sounds
beautiful,
nice.
beautiful,
beautiful
city.
place,
Yeah.
Italy.
Okay.
Very nice. I've also got Freya on the Super Switcher. You can't see her and you can't hear her. You'll be able to hear her later, though. She'll be on Twitch on Adorama XP playing Overwatch. So if you can't get enough of us by the end of this, then go watch her over there in an hour or 2 hours. You've got 2 hours before you go live, right? So thank you very much for joining us for this session. This is all about shiny stuff, and I've got a whole bunch of shiny things to play with, and specifically silver. I thought I could go with any color. We've done some gold before on Adorama TV. I haven't done shiny silver, so that's what I've got. So over on this wall here, I've got all of my thing. I'm over here. There we go. One job. Which camera am I on? That one? Hello. I've got all of my reflectors and pinned them to the wall to make this rather fun kind of wall of reflectors. Yeah, I mean, you've seen everything on Adorama TV, and now you've seen a wall of reflectors. How exciting. I didn't know I had so many. I got loads. It's like, this is like a lifetime's collection, and it's the side I never use. I very, very rarely use the silver side of any of my reflectors, so this is fun. So that's going to be the background for my first lighting setup. I just need to make sure my camera is set and everything is good to go, so let me just clear a few things off my laptop like that, and we'll press a few buttons like that, and we should be good to go. Of course, I need an awesome model, and today we're super lucky because we have the amazing Katie! Woo, give it up for Katie! Here's Katie. Katie is going to be the model for this. What was that? I don't think it was anything going to fall down. I think you're okay. I should also say this is completely live, so if you're watching this live and you've got a question, stick it in the comments, stick it in the chat, hit the like and subscribe button if you haven't already done so, because that really helps the whole session as we're going along. So let's start off with something really simple. Katie, you're going to go stand right up against the background. Let's get a photo on the screen. We want to do this as quickly as we can, so we're going to get everything to assist me as far as I possibly can. I'm going to get my camera, I'm going to put it in manual mode because it's flash. I do everything with flash in manual mode, but my flash itself, I'm going to put it on TTL mode. Let's just pop it into TTL mode, make sure it's all turned on and working, because my favorite thing is forgetting to turn the thing on when I've put it all the way up there, but not today. And then we're just going to take a photo at, well, 250th of a second. That's my flash sync speed for my Olympus OM system camera at f5.6 ISO 200. Middle of the road stuff. Okay, Katie, quick little test photo only just to see what we get, see if we get a picture on the screen. In TTL mode, and TTL is remarkably good nowadays. I mean, there was a day when this would come out basically black. Not today, it's about absolutely bang on. However, there is a high chance with silver, shiny, reflective backgrounds that your TTL might be less than consistent. So if I go and do another photo where I go a lot wider, for example, let's try that. My exposure might shift. I mean, I'm doing this live, so it's not going to. Oh, there's a question already. Yeah, go on, Sam.
There is a question. Gavin, is it okay to constantly say, ooh, shiny, after every shot?
I think it's actually a requirement. It's like, ooh.
That's Seth.
Oh, it's Seth, yeah. we should have had a Brooklyn reflector in here. That's what we're lacking.
And Ab said, cool set build, Gavin.
Thank you, Ab. I'll take that as a compliment from you. I mean, there's no parachutes or anything like that, but I'm doing my best, Ab, honestly. It's not bad. It's pretty consistent, but there is a slight shift between these two. That's a little bit brighter, that's a little bit darker. So TTL is going to give you a shift in exposure as you go along. Keep coming in with the questions.
Okay, so Dennis asked, he's just curious about the orange cable. Is it HDMI, Ethernet, USB-C, and it looks rather long. Do you have two that are connected together?
Great question, Dennis. So it's a USB cable. I'll bring it a bit closer so you can just see what we got. So this is my tether tools. USB-C cable. So it's USB-C out from my camera. And then, yes, an enormously long cable to my laptop, which is running a whole bunch of tethering software. It is two cables joined together because one cable is never, I mean, they're always that kind of awkward length. One is a bit short, two is a bit too long, but it works for me. And if you want to find out more about this stuff, go check out my video on Adorama TV where I talk about tethering. It was a week ago today. Go find that and we cover tethering in detail, Dennis. Okay, so TTL, really good, but it can be a little bit inconsistent. So although TTL will work for you, I'm going to switch to manual flash. It's just going to give me more control. So, you know, you use whatever you like to use, but I like to use manual, which does mean I have to put it into manual flash. Here we go. So Katie, I'm going to pop this near your chin. Here we go. I'm using a flash meter. We could do this by trial and error. Half a stop difference between the TTL and the manual, which is about right. It was pretty close. Okay, Katie, here we go. We're going to do two shots. We're going to do a wide shot first of all, and then I'm going to come in and do a closer shot. And what I'm going to get is consistency of light. Even though I've got this super shiny background with hopefully loads of detail. I've lost my mouse, there it is. Yeah, loads of detail, really good. But the background, the illumination on Katie is exactly the same for each shot. So she's correctly exposed and correctly exposed. So it all kind of, it gives a consistency of result. Even if you're consistently wrong, at least with manual you are consistent. If you have to fix everything by half a stop or so, at least you've got some consistency. So TTL works okay, manual is better. Of course, it all falls apart when I say to Katie, Katie, do you want to come and stand a little bit closer to me? Because you're a bit close to the background. And we're going to pop you roughly in line with the back of this little glow softbox. Oh, for those that like to know, this is I think it's a 24-inch. It's a new one, I've only got it recently. This is 25-inch Beauty Dish Silver. Ignore the name Beauty Dish, it's really just a softbox. However, Katie's moved, I've changed nothing at all about my, which one am I on? That one. Nothing. We could do a little system of lights. I've given Freya an extra camera. I mean, you know, she's got so many cameras now. This is going to be fun. Okay, so here we go, Katie. Haven't changed my exposure on the lights. I haven't changed my exposure on the camera. The only thing that's changed is Katie's position. So have a little look. The background is exactly the same, but Katie is, I mean, sorry, Katie, that's a really, don't look at that. But it's not going to be your profile picture, is it? So TTL would have got around that. TTL would have remetered it for me, but those are the downsides of manual. I just have to remeter, or I could do trial and error. I was at 1/4 power. That's probably 2 stops too many. Let's try 1/16 power. Here we go, Katie. Okay, and I get back to a correct exposure on Katie, but you can see that the background is getting darker. So I'm trading background illumination versus Katie illumination. And that's kind of where we're getting to an interesting point where we can start to get a bit more creative. Go for it, Sam.
So Paco asked, can I use tin foil as I don't have as many reflectors as you do? I'm sure not many people do, actually.
What, you haven't got a dozen reflectors? I mean, Adorama will happily sell you a dozen reflectors. I mean, they probably do a random pack of reflectors. I assume that's where I got mine from. No, yes, you can. No, yes, that doesn't help, does it? Paco, yes, you can use tin foil. You can make little tin foil squares, stick them to the background. That would look amazing. Or you can do what we're going to do with the next setup. Keep watching. Okay. Let's just plug in my USB again. There's always a worry when it says USB failed on your camera. Hang on. Here we go. Got it. So we've got a kind of a lit Katie and a dark background, so I'm going to put some light behind Katie. And the only way to do that is to add a second light into this. It could be any light at all. I am literally going to grab one. It's another Flashpoint Explore 300. It could be a speed light. It really wouldn't matter, to be honest. Just pop that down there like that. And we're going to point that at the background. Okay, so I'm going to hide that behind you. That, hopefully, is on its own separate group. I say hopefully, it is. Where should I start? What power should I start with that light? The key light for Katie is 1/16 power. So I'm going to start the background light at 1/16 power. There's no logic, it just sounds about right. Let's see what happens. Okay, here we go, Katie. I'm going to keep it.
Can you let everyone know what camera and lens you're using at the moment?
Yep, please? I can let everybody know what camera and lens I'm using. I'll just explain what we've got on screen. So that is lit from the background flash. That is, whoops, too far. That is unlit. That is lit. So Katie doesn't change. I'm just controlling the background. So what is the correct exposure? Which of these two is the correct exposure on the background? Whilst I'm explaining about my camera, should we go with the darker one or should I go with the lighter one? Which one of those is the correct one? Okay, let's come back to this camera. My camera of choice is, there it is. It is the Olympus or OM system OM1. And my lens is a 12 to 40 millimeter, which would equate to a 24 to 80 millimeter on a full frame. It's the same crop. Okay. You'll find links to some of this stuff in the video description if it helps. Okay, have we got, we're a little ahead of you guys in real-time terms, but have we got any thoughts on darker or lighter backgrounds? No. I'm guessing.
So Stuart said there is no correct.
Stuart, I love you. Go on now. Damn it,
it's
Stuart.
what you prefer.
Ruining my fun. Yeah. All right, Stuart, let's just leave it there because Stuart is right. Anything else is wrong. There really isn't a right or a wrong. It really is what you prefer. Anything that you prefer is the correct answer. And it really is that. It's anything you prefer.
Actually had quite a lot of thumbs up for darker.
Oh. That ruins the rest of the session, doesn't it? What do we do now then? We'll prove them wrong. I like your optimism, Katie. Prove them wrong. All right, okay. Well, let's make it more colourful. We'll add a splash of colour. Because it is being lit separately, I can literally do anything to that background, including just throwing a gel on the background light, just to see how that looks. I'm not going to change the flash power for the background light. Even though I put a gel on there and some of the light is being absorbed by the gel, I'm going to leave it alone so it's slightly darker just for you lot. Yeah, I'm caring and considerate for our Adorama TV audience. Okay, here we go. So, is it still a silver background? Yeah. The thing about silver is it's not really a colour. Silver isn't a colour. Gold is gold. Silver isn't anything, really. Silver is, what, grey? Well, grey's not a colour. Grey is just an absence of colour. I mean, that's the very definition of no colour, grey. So, silver can be whatever you want it to be. It's a really versatile effect. But you'll notice that some bits are lighter and some bits are darker. It's also a random effect, which as we go through this session, that's going to be both a blessing and an absolute pain. And we'll see how it goes. Okay, Katie, let's just take a few photos like that. I'll turn the background light down a little bit just to keep our audience happy. We'll take it down to 1/32nd power. So the key light is at 1/16 power. The background light is at 1/32nd power. I'm going vertical for these because it just gives me a little bit more room, and Katie is a great vertical model. And the best thing about Katie is literally I can stand here all day and Katie just keeps on going. Let's go horizontal because you have to do them both. Awesome. Fantastic. We'll do one more, Katie, and then we will move on. Hold it there. Boom. Fantastic.
I have a question.
Oh yes, go for it. I just realised I was in 16:9. So I thought they were a bit tighter than I intended.
Okay,
go for it.
so Les said, do you manually check white balance or do you trust your camera auto settings?
Oh, good question. Good question. That's one we haven't had for a while. Okay, so my white balance, if I can spin this around and see if I can get this in the shot, which is easier said than done because it's backwards to me. My white balance is in the middle, just below the little blinking thing. is my white balance, and you can see it's locked in at 5600K. So I've locked my white balance to a specific custom white balance. However, I'm shooting in RAW, so I've got the ability to change that. And if it was really color critical, if we were doing fashion items that needed the correct color, for example, I would use a gray card or my color checker passport to take a reference photo so I could perfectly color match this. But for today, that's close enough. I haven't had that one before. That's a good one. I like that question.
And Seth has said that we've got quite a few people watching and only a smaller amount of likes. So go and hit the likes, please. If you want to see more of these, go and hit the likes. Thank you.
Absolutely. More likes, the better. It really helps everything go along. Somewhere I've got a round one. So just between Christmas and the New Year, I got a whole update on some of my kit, which is terrific. So we have a new Flashpoint softbox, which I'm really loving because it's quite a shallow little, it's supposed to be a beauty dish. It's really not a beauty dish, but I love that. And a bunch of speed lights as well. But most importantly, magnetic bits. I love magnets. They're so cool. Look at that. So I have magnets. I have some colored gels. I don't know why I've picked up purple, but it would appear I've chosen purple. I think it was the one on the top, which is why I've selected purple. I'm going to throw a bit of purple in with the blue. Let's just turn this on. And we need to probably change the group so it's on C. I've got my main light on group A. I've got my background light on group B. And because this is a lower powered flash, I'll put that on group C. So I can independently control all of the lights output. Let's shuffle that over there. There we go. So we can have purple one side, blue the other. That's kind of my thinking. We'll see how it goes. Maybe we should move the light as well. We haven't moved this one. Let's move the light. There we go. Okay, Katie, I'm not going to whack you with the light. If you want to come take a little step forward, I'd just like to put it into position. Awesome. So a little bit of elevated side light just to mix up the look and feel of these pictures. Let's use a flash meter because I've moved the light. I want to check the exposure on that light. We were at 1/16th power to get f5.6. We lost 1/3 of a stop. That's all. Easy. Okay. So let's see how this looks. Purple one side, blue the other. Let's just set this one to on, shall we? That's what it looks like if you don't have your light firing. I thought that was an important picture that I really needed to show you because, yeah, you didn't put that one on screen, did you, Freya? Oh, yeah. So... Honestly, I said don't put them on screen unless I go awesome. That's the key. That's the key word. Okay, here we go. Oh, you got to love a live, haven't you? Nothing can ever go wrong on a live. So there we go. A little bit of purple back there, a little bit of blue, maybe a bit more purple. Let's punch that one up. That was on 1/32nd power. Let's try 1/4 power. That'll be different. Here we go, Katie. Ooh, awesome. That's pretty good. Okay, that's not bad. Yeah, that looks okay. I mean, that's really seriously colourful. Let's do a few verticals to see how that looks. Okay, Katie, here we go. Fantastic. Brilliant. I'm going to do 2 more. That's one. Last one. Oh. So this is where live is always a pain because you think, oh, I'd love to do a few more, but we've got to move on. We've got other stuff. So that was fun. I enjoyed that. That was pretty good for a whole bunch of random backgrounds made up of reflectors. Katie, do you want to step out of the way because I'm going to move some stuff around. Let's just turn a few lights off. So if you've got any questions, now's a very good time to get them in because I'm just going to rebuild half the studio. Okay, so Richard asked, what light meter are you using? Yeah, I don't think I put that in the video description. I was thinking about that. And I was thinking, oh, I didn't put that in. Richard, I am using my very old Sekonic, wait for it, 308S. Okay, it is 308, yeah. 308S. I've had this longer than any other piece of equipment in this room. Okay, it's really old. The rubber bumper is brilliant. So if you get one, get these rubber bumpers. You can get them again from Adorama. Pretty much the only place I've found them. They're just wonderful. They protect the light meter from banging around on the stand, which is useful, but mostly it just helps me to find it really quick because it's not black.
Another one?
Yeah, keep going.
Roger asks, what is your light meter preference? Face sensor to the shooting position or to the light being measured?
Always and always to the light being measured. Yeah, I know. I've had a debate or two over the years about that one, but it's always, in my book, to the light that you want to meter. But at the end of the day, the real answer is whatever works for you. Whatever you do and it works for you, stick with that. Don't suddenly start changing because you have to learn something different. Okay, good questions. Okie dokie, so moving on. I raided the studio for anything shiny, so I had all of my silver reflectors, and then about 5 years ago on Adorama TV, we did a video where we had this stuff in a shoot, and for some bizarre reason I never threw it away. I think because it was, well, we had to pay for it. I think that's as good a reason as any, and you never know when it was going to be useful. So this is called mylar. It's the stuff that you might see wrapped around sportsmen at sporting type things after a long run, or emergency blankets or spaceships, that kind of thing. And I know I've cut it at some point. I don't know where it is, so I'm going to put that there because I don't want it to fall on the floor. Yeah, about right. There we go. It has two sides. There is a shiny side, which is this one, and then there is more of a matte side, which, we're doing shiny, so I'm going to use the shiny side. It's thin, it's very, very light, it's very easily damaged. I noticed we've got a hole in the middle, that's where Katie's going to be. Yeah, and it's kind of reflective. It's not nice reflective. I'll show you what I mean. We'll set some lights up and take some photos. It's much easier to show you visually than to explain. Okay, so we're going to pop some lights over here. Oh, that sandbag weighs a lot. And probably doesn't need to be on there. Okay, good. Whew. Right, Katie, if you want to come back in. So I'm going to ask Katie to stand in front of the mylar. Mind there, don't trip over the cable. That's why we have a really long cable. If I had a short cable, then at this point it would be pulled out sort of inches above the floor. So, yeah. Really good tip. I should say, this is a great tip. Can we? Yeah, that'll do. We'll have that shot. On my tethering video, one of the comments said, if you're going to clamp your cable on, clamp it at the bottom. I mean, I've been doing this for well over a decade. I never thought of doing that. Clamp it by the sandbag. That is so much safer. So whoever told me that, I'm using it. I'm totally taking that. Oh, and that was my idea. Completely my idea. I did not get it from a comment on an Adorama TV video. Okay, Katie, here we go. So, we should meter it. We moved everything. Do it properly or not at all. So this is we'll switch off any other lights here so they don't accidentally fire. Katie, I'm going to pop this near your chin. So I'm shooting at f5.6. I'm currently getting f4. So f5.6. And the way this is working, oh, sorry, thank you, Frey, is I've got my camera settings, ISO 200, shutter speed 250th of a second, and on the right-hand side, I'm getting the f-stop 5.0. Okay, so that's how I know I'm getting my exposure right. So, I'm just going to plug in the tether cable, which is popped off. There we go. Reset my tethering. Bear with me 1 second whilst the tethering re-establishes. We're up and running that quick. Here we go. Katie, quick little test photo. And when I take a picture straight into the mylar, I get this. Ooh, we've got a long way to go, haven't we, to make that better. What's going on there? So mylar is an interesting material. It is highly reflective. So what you can see up here is a big reflection of the softbox. That's what you're seeing there. It's not round like the actual softbox is because mylar, well, this stuff has been in my loft for 5 years and it's moved house recently as well. And it's a bit crinkled and a bit wrinkled. That's fine. Why is this silver coming out black? Well, it's a mirror. So it's only going to reflect anything that it can see. And because I'm using flash, I'm basically removing the ambient light from the scene. It's reflecting black. That's why it looks black. Okay, Katie, I'm going to give myself a little helping hand. I'm going to turn my modeling lamp on. That's going to make life a little bit easier. And then I'm going to try from the side instead. Here we go. You never know your luck. Maybe that would be better. Okay, so I've still got the reflection in the top corner, but now you can see how this reflection is. It's kind of not... Katie, can I ask you to do something that's really... I will promise I'll never use the photo. Can you look into the Mylar for me? Okay. Okay, that's fine. Don't have to look... Oh, goodness me. Just look across to my laptop. Okay. This is not what you want to do with this stuff. Do not do this. We're doing this so you don't have to. Okay? I'm not zooming in. Okay, we'll just move on. That's what Mylar does. Don't do that with Mylar. Don't ask your model to look into it. Ooh, it's really bad. I mean, not good at all. So it works this way around, not the other way around. Sorry, Katie, I won't ask you to do that again. So how are we going to deal with this reflection? Well, reflections are all about straight lines. Light bounces and then bounces almost straight back at you, give or take the curvature of the Mylar. So in theory, if I get my light and move it somewhere so it doesn't bounce back at me, like elevated up and off to the side, like that, and as long as I don't move it further away than it was before from Katie, the exposure should be more or less the same.
Well, Seth was quite keen on that.
This is the thing, isn't it? Photography is great. One man's, ooh, no, don't do that, is another man's, oh my God, that's awesome.
Yeah, I'm into it, yeah.
Just we're not going to have anything to do with it.
Stealing his style.
Okay, have a little look at this one. There we go. So the hotspot is gone. I actually quite like the hotspot. I know it's not supposed to be there, but I actually quite like it. So let's see if we can actually do something with this to make it a bit more interesting. So I'm going to put this centered up on Katie, something like that. A little bit closer. Adjust the power a little bit. We can angle it down a tiny bit. Okay, I'm going to be coming in from the side. Katie, I'm going to push this across. There you go. Whee, something like that. Okay. And then I'm going to come down the side here. Let's just see how this works. Okay, I should have adjusted the flash slightly over, but I can live with that. A small tweak there. So this is getting better already. So what we're now seeing is a reflection of my reflectors. Reflected in the Mylar. There's a lot of reflections in there, literally. So that's kind of nice. I like that. That's getting somewhere interesting. What about some colour? Maybe we should throw a bit of colour in here. If you're watching us live, don't forget, even if you're watching the recording, don't forget to hit the like button. Super nice. Subscribe if you haven't already done so. If you haven't done so, why not? Let's pop that onto B. Okay, so I've got a purple gel on that one. Got another one over here because you can never have too many lights in your life. So we've already got it set up. Why change something? Let's just keep what we've got. Well, probably because that's terrible. You should not put a gel on like that. So yeah, don't do that one. Oh, you'll take that one off. We'll put a gel on. I'm glad you can't see this. There we go. That's a good angle. Well done, Freya. Good choice. No one saw that, did they? We'll edit that out. It'll be seamless. No one will notice. Totally seamless. So I've got... Which one are we on? That one? Hello. I've got a whole box of gels. So, somewhere I've got a blue. How did that happen?
Oh, Seth's got an idea for you.
What's that?
Hear me out, Gavin. Do the distorted shot, but do it with our hand reaching into the Mylar, so it's like Stargate Matrix type thing. Try it, man.
Reaching in, reaching through, maybe have a real hand. You'd have to have a real hand coming through the Mylar, wouldn't you? That could work. Yeah, or maybe the other way around, Seth. What about having a real face and then a distorted hand? I'd feel more comfortable that way, I think, but... Yeah, so that is going to be Seth's next live. Look out for that one, Stargate version. Okay. Is it on? I think it's on. Let's see what we've got. Okay, so we've got some colourful lights going on here. I've got purple on that one. I've got blue on this one. Let's see what we get. Here we go. Apparently I've turned them off. Do you remember when I said I'd turn them off at the transmitter? Good modelling, Katie. Well done. You did well. Okay.
Got another question?
Hang on. Here we go. Boom! There we are.
Yay.
Thank you. Yes, go with the question.
So Joe asked, are you using the wall reflector as a fill light with the light bounce off the mylar, or is it not affecting the shot?
Yes. Okay, next question. Yes, I'm probably using it as a bit of a reflector. It's certainly going to be bouncing around. We haven't got any grids on these, so yes is the answer. Am I doing it on purpose? No, I'm just benefiting from a slight bounce if I'm getting it. But yeah, I'm definitely getting a bit of bounce off here, and I'm loving it.
I had quite a few questions about the C stand as well.
Oh yeah?
The smaller
I'm going to keep
one.
taking photos. You keep asking questions.
Yeah, what is it?
The small one. The small one is a 20-inch riser C-stand. Okay, so when you're looking for a small one, look for a 20-inch riser, and you're going to be in the right kind of ballpark for this. So it's a little tiny one. I think I might have put a link in that one. If it's not in this live video, then it will be in any of my previous videos, because I use the little 20-inch riser a lot. So go check out some links in the descriptions, and you'll soon find it. Okay, awesome. Fantastic. I'm going to turn down a touch, just out of preference. There we go. So we've got a mixture of colours going on. I'm working my way around, Katie, just to see what we get. Katie, can you press back into, yeah. So if I get Katie to press back into the mylar, the picture changes, the reflections change, which is kind of fun. Should we crumple it up? What the heck? I mean, it's been in my studio for 5 years. What's the worst that can... I bet that sounds great on the video. Sorry about that. It might be a bit late, but mute my microphone next time I do that, Frey. That's okay. So we have a little bit more crease stuff going on, which is kind of fun. And we can take this even further. Let's take it even further. How are we doing for time? Oh, we're doing it right. Let's give you this. Here we go. So, I should explain. Just going to randomly get something out. When I got my mylar out and I unrolled it, this fell off. So this is one bit. I must have cut it up for something. It's about 1.5 meters in length. We had fun buying this. We went to a very interesting shop to go and get it many years ago, as I remember. And they gave us an option of either smooth or sort of patterned. So if you're buying it, don't get the patterned stuff. No, it's technically better for your horticulturalists out there, but this is better for us photographers. So this is smooth, although as you can see, it's had a few crinkles and creases. And what we're going to do, Katie's a brilliant model. She is not going to question my logic. Sorry about this. This is kind of nuts. And sometimes it's easier to show rather than to just say. But basically, we're going to get Katie to create this, only better.
Hopefully with a better face, sort of, not that sort of scrunched up look.
It's all right. No one's taking screen grabs or anything like that.
Loud.
It is quite loud, isn't it?
Loud, yeah.
Okay, so what I'd like is a bit more of a larger version. So rather than... That's it. We'll have it... Oh, you've torn it in half. Let's see
I have.
Yeah. Here we go. Let's go with that. Yeah? I say you, obviously. Okay. So I'm going to come in closer. I get the feeling these are going to be more close-up shots. Let's go vertical. Got to remember to do the stuff for the gram. Coming around. Just bring your hands together for me, Katie. Let's see what happens then. Hey, there we go. Fantastic. So earlier on, somebody asked me about using tinfoil. Yeah, you could most definitely use tinfoil at this point. Fantastic. Okay, pretty good. We're going to do a couple more and then we'll move on. So bring it right round, bring it right round to your neck. Even if it tears in half, that's fine. There you go. Fantastic. Okay, cool. We'll stop there. And why not? If you've got the stuff, go with it. Yeah, Sam, far away.
Vanka Daru said, can mylar be used as a silver reflector?
Yes. There we go. One silver reflector. Yep, absolutely it can. I mean, I'm not going to throw this stuff away. Even Katie, though she's ripped it into two pieces. It's got uses, absolutely. There's a whole bunch of videos. If you really want to waste hours and hours and hours on YouTube, you can find videos of people making this with mirrors and heating it up and making parabolic mirrors out of this stuff and all sorts. Yeah, I mean, it's very, very useful, versatile stuff. Not desperately expensive, but very useful. Yeah, I don't know where I'm going to put it. I'm going to put it over there. Right. It's quite noisy. Right, let's get this out of the way. Katie, I'm going to take these bits if you'd like to step out of the way. So once again, if you're thinking I've got a burning question you'd like to ask me or Katie, you can ask Katie questions. We have a Katie mic. Feel free to dive in and ask some questions because we are moving along quite nicely. Let's take that down.
I think there's some slight disappointment there's no smoke.
Well, that's a good question though. Why am I not using smoke? Because you might imagine with some of these looks, smoke could work. And the reason is pretty, which one am I on now? I've lost track. Oh, that one. I'm on the movable one, that's fun. The reason is, to see smoke, you have to have a dark background. You don't see smoke any other way unless it's against the dark background. Because if you think about it, smoke is basically white. So if you have a white background with white smoke, you just don't see it. But a dark background with white smoke, you see the smoke. So it's a good question. And we did smoke with Katie last time and nearly suffocated her, which was...
I've got a question as well. This is for me. James asked how much of my house is dedicated to prop storage. Yes, more than you'd imagine, James. Fortunately, I like most of the props, so it's fine. Books especially.
Yes, we did not recently do a shoot that involved a tent and a fire pit because you wanted a fire pit. It did not happen.
Don't know what you mean.
It's like, oh, we'll do that shoot. Yeah, definitely, I've got an idea. So yes, we have a lot of stuff, and a lot of it is stuff we do use around the house. Right, okay. How are we doing? We've got 20 minutes to go. We are running to time, which is really good.
Got a question for Katie. Let's see how your acting is, Katie. Daryl asked, how much fun is it working with Gavin?
Don't tell him, but it's fabulous.
Shh, keep that quiet.
You're after a pay rise.
Always.
Okay, cool. Let's see what we got. Okay, so we've got one more setup to do, and this last one I'm going to do with high-speed sync. So the first thing I'm going to do is just run through high-speed sync, and then we'll hang something up on the wall to complete the look. But I think probably high-speed sync is a good place to start before I get any more complicated with the setup. So high-speed sync. Basically, the reason I'm using high-speed sync in my small home studio is because I'm going to be working at a much, much wider aperture than I have been so far. So I've been working at an aperture of f5.6. I've been at 250th of a second and ISO 200. Katie, can I get you just to stand in front of this background for me? Okie dokie. I'm going to turn my flash off. So my flash is turned off, it's not working at all. I can even take the transmitter off the camera to really prove the point. Please remind me it's in my back pocket when I go, where's my transmitter? Okay. Okay, Katie, quick little test photo just to see what we get. No flash firing at f5.6, ISO 200, 250th of a second. And what I'm getting is actually quite interesting. I'm getting this. No. I'm getting the fact that I might have pulled the USB cable out before I pressed. Sorry if I'm looking at Freya going, entirely my fault. Okay, let's try that again. Okay, here we go. I'm getting this, which might surprise you because it won't look like the last picture, hopefully. Yay, there we are. So normally I would be looking for no flash, no picture. It's not quite the same in this particular studio because we have an awful lot of video lights on so you can see what's going on. If we didn't have the video stuff going, I would turn a lot of these lights off. However, I'm not getting a completely black picture. Go back again to that one for me, Frank. We're actually seeing quite a bit of detail. And what we're seeing is reflections from the little kind of, well, the silver, because silver is reflective. It'll bounce back even a small amount of light. So, but the key is Katie's face, okay? That is, it's nearly black, but it's almost completely black, which is what we're after. So high-speed sync means that I can avoid this problem. Oh, I need to change lens. Let's just grab a different lens. Hang on. I have an f1.2 lens, so I'm going to go with my f1.2 lens at f1.2. Okay, Katie, here we go. Same shot again. No flash firing because it's still in my back pocket. And now, at f1.2, I'm basically getting the correct exposure. So that means I'm using light that I have no control over. It's the room light, it is the ambient light. I don't want to use the ambient light because, well, I have no control over it. I'm going round in circles. That makes sense. Katie, do you want to come and stand a little bit closer away from the background? Marvellous. If Katie stands closer to me and further from the background, at f1.2, then the background becomes more blurry, but Katie's still correctly exposed. That's almost in focus. That's not bad for me. But remember, that's uncontrolled light. So let's put my flash on. Here we go. Let's put my flash into high-speed sync mode, which is simply pressing a button that says sync. I can dial up my shutter speed to maybe 4,000th of a second, f1.2. I can point the flash at you, Katie, would be a good idea, wouldn't it? Some photographers like to point the flash at their subject. I like to live dangerously. See what happens. Here we go, Katie. And hopefully you can see the difference this time. So, spot the difference. That's with me using controlled light. That's with me using just the room lights. Much more control on both the light on Katie and the light on the background. And that f1.2 aperture, sharp on Katie's eyes, soft and nice and defocused on the background. So that's why I'm using high-speed sync. I want that blurry background, but I want to keep control of the lights. Hopefully that helps. If you need more on high-speed sync, we have some great videos right here on Adorama TV. If you haven't already subscribed, subscribe and then you won't miss them. Go on, Sam, fire away.
Actually, a question for Katie. Yeah. So from one Pandroid asked, what characteristics make a photographer good to work with from a model's perspective?
Very good question. How long do you have? For me, pre-comms is a big one, and transparency before you actually go to a shoot. I really like people that plan well. These guys are amazing at that as well. Someone who's friendly and you can have a bit of a chat with, which, as we know, Gavin has no issue with. Yeah, and
good choice in music. Good choice in music.
Doesn't apply here, but yeah.
Ooh. Wow.
Yeah, and I suppose, you know, sort of like the legal side, if I'm doing a commercial shoot, I want to know, you know, where my image is going to be used for and that I'm being paid appropriately for them, someone who's on top of all of their, like, buyout legislation and everything like that for me. Cool. Hope that answers that.
And pre-comms is pre-communication, so that is the communication before any of this has happened. Sam has been in contact with Katie and discussed what we want to do, and the first time you work with a model, that is utterly important, that everybody is on the same plane, that everybody knows what's going on. It gets a bit easier when you've worked with a model a few times, so Sam just says, we're going to do something shiny, Katie, are you available? And she's like, yeah. Pretty much how it went today. Okay, so last shiny background is this one around here. I don't know if we have another camera angle. There we go, look at that. Awesome. So this is a rather nice fabric. I've got another bit to show you up close. So let me go and grab it so you can see what it is. Let's switch back to the main camera. Here we go. So this is the fabric that we're using. It is sequins. I don't know whether this will pick up, but it's fabric with lots and lots of little sequins attached to it. When I say lots, it's less and less every time I touch it. There is a sequin layer on the floor of the studio. So you can hear them sort of crashing off from here. And this is even older than the Mylar. We used that on a shoot once as well. It was great fun. Okay, so we're going to use this high-speed sync technique to try and get control of the light on Katie, but also light on this background. So Katie, you're going to come stand a lot closer than you were before. That's lovely. I'm going to use a bit of trial and error just to see where we are, because sadly my flash meter won't do high-speed sync. I'm going to go for vertical because that fits in with the format of my background. Okay. Yeah, pretty good. Okay, so we've got control. Katie is still correctly exposed because she was more or less the same distance as when we set the lights a few minutes ago. The background is fun. I'm getting the little sparkles off the background, and of course they're coming through as bokeh or bokeh or bokeh or however you want to pronounce it, little balls there, which is something we covered in our Christmas video, if you want to go check that out. Fire away, Sam.
Dave said, does Gavin make dresses for UK's top drag act?
Drag act?
He seems to have an abundance of sequin material. I mean, you'd be really on trend at the moment, wouldn't you, if you could do that?
I hadn't thought about
I mean, it's
that.
a sideline, Dave. I'm going to look into that.
You know, if it all goes wrong with Adorama, then you know, that could work. That could work. I hadn't thought about that, Dave. We did actually turn this fabric into a dress. If you can find it somewhere out there, there's lovely Beth all dressed in this. That's right, you made the pokey headdress, as Sam described it. I wish you could see the visual description. It's like, yeah. It's the background that's really interesting me. So we've got these little tiny spots. Remember that test I did a minute ago? No flash, no picture. I'm going to turn my flash off. Watch this. Oh, I really wish I hadn't said that now. This could go really wrong, couldn't it? Okay, here we go. Watch this, he says, crossing his fingers. Yeah, okay. Ta-da! So this is no flash. And we still have those little spots in the background. The thing about really shiny subjects is they will reflect even the smallest amount of light. It's almost impossible to get a completely black, shiny subject, especially when it's almost like little mirrors like this. And you can see the top that Katie's got on is yeah, I mean, if you can make out a constellation in the background, do let me know. Sam said it was Aquarius this morning, so this afternoon. Yeah, I think is that the one of the month? Is it Aquarius this month? You said you knew. She said, say Aquarius. You'll look like you know what you're talking about. Marvellous. Anyway, okay, so yeah, let's go back to where we were. Let's just take a photo with the flash back on again, make sure it's all working. Oh, hello, yeah, because I've switched it off and on, it forgot.
Oh, no.
That's what happens if you don't switch on high-speed sync. Yeah, I thought, again, that's worth showing. Yeah, high-speed sync off looks like that. High-speed sync on looks like that. Exactly the same power settings. That's how much power high-speed sync takes away from your flash. Quite remarkable. So we've got that background. It's not quite working for me. Let's put a better background in. Let's get a flash. Here we go. Let's see what I've got here. I'm going to switch this out, take that one off, and put another Flashpoint Explore 300. There's a reason for that. I'll explain why this. Oh no, I'm not in any of the cameras. Which camera am I on? This one? Okay, so this is a Flashpoint Explore 300. I even managed to fix in my stuff I got from Christmas, New Year break. I've got a new glass dome, so I've even managed to fix it. Fantastic. Fully functional again. I'll turn it on. It's on Group B. It's on a completely different channel.
I've got a question about the fabric.
Yes.
Nick asked, how are you safely hanging the fabric, and is it cut to size?
Safely is safe. That's right. A couple of A-clamps. So A-clamps are super useful. And they're sort of those things everybody needs, don't they? A-clamps. A-clamps look like... Sorry, the cameras have been switched around. Is that in focus?
No, you are.
I'm in focus. Switch this camera over here. A-clamps. Why won't it focus? Oh, there we are. You get the idea. It's shaped like the letter A. That's kind of the idea. A-clamps are basically attaching. I've got a rod that's up on the wall. You can see one behind Katie there. I've got another one that goes across in the other direction. And it's just clamped on with that. It's not going to fall down. And if it did, if I had to drop something on a model, a piece of fabric would be the thing I would choose to drop on a model. It isn't going to happen. So, I know Daniel says if you're going to drop something on a model, make it a softbox because it's soft. I love that joke. But realistically, that's quite safe. Okay.
Mark said, Gavin, remarkable how much information you can give in such a short time. It's really nice. Thanks, Mark.
We had to drop half of it as well. We've missed out loads of stuff. Okay, doesn't matter. It's all good. Okay, Katie, here we go. So quick little test photo. Make sure that background light is on. It is. Here we go. So that background light is on 1/8 power. Why? Because that's the last place it was when I turned it on. And that works better. I can actually see the background. It's got a little bit more sparkle to it. But I would like to have a little bit more of a shape to that background. So the shape I'm going to get from, here it is, a very special tool. I have an extremely important tool that you can't do this with any other tool. It's impossible to do what I'm going to do without the light strainer. Yes, it's back. The light strainer returns. Woo! Now with added fluorescent bungee cord. This is the new version that fits the Explore 300. It's got a tighter bungee on it. Yeah. So that has a whole bunch of holes, and it's going to push the light out through those holes. Light strainer, exclusive. So this month I was speaking to Westcott, and I've spoken to Flashpoint, and incredibly, both of them didn't mention the light strainer. I know, I was amazed as well. It does take away about a stop of light, so I'll just change my settings back there. Here we go, Katie, quick little test photo. And it just puts a little bit more shape to it, so it has a slight starburst effect, which is kind of fun. Let's put it up a little bit brighter so we can see it a little clearer. There you go. So it just has a little bit of light and dark. It's not all the same. It just breaks up the illumination a little bit, which is kind of fun. Love that. How are we doing for time? Oh, okay. We can do this. We can do 2 looks in 5 minutes.
You do a question?
Yeah, go for it.
So this is Caesar. If you use a bigger round softbox, the reflection of the fabric, would it affect the model's face?
We're going to come to that. Oh, well. We're going to come to something. Is that in the shot? Thanks. Yes. Sorry, Frey. It would. So if you have a bigger softbox, it's always going to affect things. Partly because you get less control over the direction of the light, so it's going to spill around a little bit more because the light from a softbox comes out way wider than you realise until you take a test shot. But also because we've got a load of silver around here, it's going to bounce everywhere. Okay, so I'm going to put a bit of duct tape on that. Let's put a bit of tape on that. Put a bit of colour on this background. What colour would you like, Katie? I should have asked. Any preference on colour?
Why don't we go blue?
You want to go blue because
Time is up, yes.
you want to go home? Yeah, I got it. I get it. Blue it is. I like your thinking. I agree. Blue is the colour. And it fits in with that sort of silvery feel, doesn't it? Okay, so bit of blue back there. Same thing again. Suddenly we have, oh, look at that. What a star. Kind of fun. Okay, let's do a couple of photos like that. Fantastic. Brilliant. But I heard somebody in the comments say what they really wanted was some purple. Cool. Because you know what they're like in the comments. So let's throw a bit of purple in there as well. Here we go. Let's take the light strainer off. Bit of blue, bit of purple. Why not? Let's turn those down so they're not quite so bright. Okay, here we go. So we're just going to mix up the colours a little bit. I've got blue one side, purple the other. One's a speed light, one's a Explore 300. We got it all going on.
Can you take a question?
I can take a question as I take some photos.
David asked, did you get the light strainer in black or was it painted? And if so, does the gloss of the paint matter?
Oh, David, I wish I'd done that much research. It was available in white, red and black. I chose the black one because anything black is obviously photographic. Let's just keep going, Katie. The gloss of it probably doesn't, but obviously when it comes to making my retail version, I will add in some extra kind of effects and things to make it more efficient. I don't want to spoil anything yet. We'll keep that back for when we actually get the suppliers on board, because I know they're all chomping at the bit for me to make the light strainer available. Okay. Fantastic. So that works really well. We're going to do one more to finish off. Love that. It's kind of like, yeah, it's like you're a celebrity. That's right. Love it. So we're going to do one last bit just to finish off, because there's one more thing we can do with this fabric that is just plain fun. Katie, can you stand up against that wall? Yep. Somebody asked earlier about the size of the softbox, so let's do it wrong. How long have we got? 3 minutes. 3 crazy minutes. Here we go. So I'm going to do this wrong. So here's the plan. I've got my softbox pointing at the lovely textured sequined background, and in my mind what's going to happen is the light from this is going to hit these sequins, and these sequins are going to bounce light off and bounce light onto Katie. I mean, that makes sense. Why wouldn't that work? Let's find out. So let's switch out the lenses, switch it on to this one. Okay, switch out of high-speed sync because we don't need to be in that. Okay, quick little test photo, Katie, here we go. I'm going to guess 1/8 power, why not? Let's try that. Okay, here we go. So light coming across, bouncing off, and filling this wonderful, oh, it didn't work. Oh, that's annoying. Oh, what a shame. Well, never mind, everybody. Thanks for coming along. We'll fix... No, we can't leave it like that, can we? It didn't work. It didn't bounce off, and it didn't give me those kind of little spots of light that I'm hoping for. I'm hoping it's going to project little spots of light. Here's the fix. Here's how you do it if you want that effect. Let's get rid of... So we were using the Easy Lock. Which way around does it go? No, that one. We were using the Easy Lock 25-inch Beauty Dish Silver. We're going to switch that out to... No, not the light strainer. I know what you're thinking. Not the light strainer. Instead, we're going to switch it out to a snoot. So I've gone from not a big softbox, but a large light source to the smallest little light source that I have in my studio. Because to get the effect that I can imagine in my head, all those little spots dazzling and reflecting, you need the smallest light source you can get your hands on. And around here, that is a snoot. So I'm going to aim it across that. The other advantage of the snoot is the light is going to come across here and hit this part, and it's going to miss Katie completely. I'm not sure what's going to happen if I turn the lights off. I'm going to turn the lights off a second. Absolutely nothing. God, modern cameras are too good. But if we turned all the lights off with the modelling lamp, we can just about see it. I know this is going to take a lot of power, so I'm going to change a couple of things. I'm going to put my flash where I don't ever really put it full power. Rarely ever goes there. I'm going to open up my aperture all the way to f2.8, and I'm going to have to increase my ISO to 400. I will capture some of that uncontrolled room light that I said earlier I didn't want. Occasionally you have to live with these things. I could turn the room lights off, but then you wouldn't see the rest of the video. Let's make sure these are all turned off. They are. Okay.
Rick said he wants to still see what a disco ball would do, because a few people have asked about disco balls.
Okay. This. Basically. If you had a disco ball, this would be exactly the same. Okay, Katie, quick little test photo. Boom. Okay, here it comes. There we go. So we have that sort of mottled effect. Now, if we had the time, we could roll down a grey background and do it on a grey, and it will look a little bit better. But that kind of works quite well. I probably could turn out the room lights here just for a mo. There we go. Just see if I can get a little bit of control over these shadows. No, I'm still getting loads of shadows from where I don't want. But hey, it's alive. I'm going to go wide. Why am I going to take a wide picture? Why is this about to be the best and most important picture I'm going to take? Because this picture explains what's going on, like no other picture could. Okay? That's the picture you can't see because the flash doesn't last long enough for you to see what's going on. Sometimes you need wide behind-the-scenes pictures to remind yourself, share with your social media, that kind of thing. Okay, Katie, here we go. We're going to do 3 or 4 of these, and then our time is up. And this is where Katie excels.
I've got another question. When are you planning the next live? So our next live is the 16th of February. So that's 4 weeks today, I believe. That's Matthias. Thank you.
Let's just try this way. Let's just see what happens if I come around here. I get no light at all. What happens if I come around here? What happens is the best question you can ask as a photographer. What happens if I do that? What happens? I can be right in the way. Oh, we run out of background. We need a bigger background. Okay, last 2 pictures. Here we go. I'm going to come around this side. I'll trip over my light stand for the last shot, which is going to be a nice wide shot just like that. Awesome. There we go. Fantastic. So there is a whole bunch of things you can do with various shiny things, from standard reflectors, mylar, shiny fabrics, or glitter balls. If you've got a glitter ball, exactly the same principle would apply. Small light source beams straight onto your reflective object. Fantastic. Well, there we are. That brings us to the end of the live session. Hopefully you found this enjoyable, useful. If you have, click the thumbs up button. Really appreciate that. Click the subscribe button. Check out the links in the video description. You'll find links to pretty much most of the gear I've been using through this session. I'd like to thank the awesome Katie. Whoa. Fantastic. Freya on the super switcher. Yeah, and Sam for doing the audio and the mixing and the questions and all of the stuff behind the scenes.
Thanks to everyone for all their questions and for answering questions we didn't get to. It's really, really useful, and all the banter. It's great.
Fantastic. Freya is going to be live. If you're around and you want to catch Freya in person, she'll be live on Adorama XP in 55 minutes. She's going to have to run back to her office where she'll be playing Overwatch. If you know what that is, it's a really good game, like Overwatch. Go join her, just pop in, say hi over on Twitch. Really appreciate that. That would be fantastic. And that brings us to the end of this. So hope you found this useful. I'm Gavin Hoey. Thanks for watching.